So, I made a pinball roguelike. Think Balatro, but instead of cards, it's pinball. You play rounds, hit bumpers to score, beat a target score. Then go to a shop and buy items that stack into broken combinations. Pretty simple concept. And I don't like it anymore. Not in a dramatic way. More like I was building the shop system, adjusting item values, and I had to play through the whole game over and over just to test it. I was sitting there thinking, this isn't fun. Like, if the person making it isn't having fun playing it, that's probably a sign. If you've ever built something and had that moment where you realized it's just not clicking, you know exactly what I mean. But let's talk about what actually got built in these 2 weeks. The biggest thing was the item and shop system. You earn tickets by scoring, spend them in a shop between rounds. Buy permanent items that stack bonuses and multipliers, or consumables you use mid-round. The shop generates randomly weighted by rarity. You can reroll it and everything feeds into a ticket economy. If you've played Balatro, you will probably recognize the game loop immediately. I also built an inventory system to track what you own. Animated buttons with hover and press effects, which sounds small but make the whole thing feel way more alive. And smooth scene transitions. Main menu slides out, game slides in, shop slides out in between rounds, and it feels a lot more alive than it did 2 weeks ago. Before that, everything just instantly appeared and disappeared, which felt really rough. There are also different ball types too. A normal ball, a gold ball that gives bonus score per hit, coin ball that generates tickets but scores less, and the bomb ball that accumulates bounces and explodes for a big score burst. Each one has a different risk-reward trade-off. For example, if the bomb doesn't accumulate the bounces and fails out of the boundary, you just score nothing. Each one changes how you play the round, which is exactly what I wanted. And of course, bugs. So many bugs. The ball was spawning infinitely at one point. Every time you lost the ball, it just kept spawning more until the whole field was full of them. The gate that holds the ball before launch kept flying off to a completely wrong position every round, so I just deleted it. The score multiplier was stacking permanently instead of resetting, which meant by round 3 you had a 10x multiplier from buying one item. And honestly, looking at it written out like that, it sounds like a lot. And it is, for me at least. But here's the thing, about building something for 2 weeks and then playing it over and over to test it. You start to notice everything that's wrong with it. The settings button does nothing, the stats button does nothing, the quit button does nothing. They are just looking functional. The inventory is temporary. Items just sit in a floating blue box, with no real layout actually. Item scaling is broken, one item alone stays tiny, add a second one and the first one suddenly scales huge for no reason. No sound, at all. And this one actually took effort to not have. I spent a long time looking for sound effects that felt right. Something like Balatro or Slay the Spire. That juicy satisfying feedback when something hits. Not 8-bit robot noises. And I just couldn't find the right ones in time. Free sound, HIO packs, everywhere. Nothing clicked, so I shipped without them, and it makes the whole thing feel hollow. If you ever played a game with a placeholder silence, you know how much sound actually carries the feel of something. No animations on the ball or bumpers, so hits feel weightless. There's also no balancing, the numbers are basically made up. And there's also no sell system in the shop either, so you cannot sell the items. And you're stuck with them for the whole run. And there's a lot more things that are just broken or not working. I know exactly what's wrong with it. That's not me being defensive. That's just where it's at. And look, some of this would have gotten done if I had more time and energy. But these 2 weeks just weren't that kind of 2 weeks. I went out, touched grass, took actual breaks, and I think that was the right call. If you're the kind of person who feels guilty for stepping away from a project, I get it. But sometimes you just need to not look at it for a day. The days are also getting hotter. My room feels like a sauna, and trying to concentrate in that is just not happening. If you ever try to debug code while slowly melting, you know it doesn't go well. And Path of Exile 2 is about to drop a new leak, and I'm not going to pretend that it will not cost me a few days. And I started playing Slay the Spire 1 for the first time. Which is funny because Slay the Spire is basically a direct inspiration for what I'm building. The shop, the items, the run-based progression. Playing it while building my own version of it made me realize how much depth a good roguelike actually needs. How every decision has to feel meaningful. Pinball doesn't really give you that. But also, the project just got big for me. This is my biggest project yet, and I'm still fairly new to it. Things got disorganized fast. I still haven't used Notion as much as I wanted. I know. I try to do too much. I implement too many systems at once, and underestimated how long everything would take. That's just game dev, I think, though. Or maybe that's just me. Probably both. Somewhere in the middle of all of this, I noticed I was enjoying editing the last video more than building this game. And I enjoyed figuring out the systems in the code more than playing the result. That's interesting to me, and I'm still thinking about what it means. The channel started as a pure game dev channel, but it's slowly becoming something else. Half game dev, half just honest documentation of what's like to be a person trying to learn something new, while life is happening around you. I think I like that direction. Hopefully you do too. And I think the game reflects that honest process too. Pinball has a fundamental problem for a roguelike. As a player you only control the flippers. Everything else is random. That's fine for pure pinball, but for a game where builds and decisions are supposed to matter, it doesn't work, I think. That's not enough for the player to actually do. You realize that pretty late. So I'm going to rebuild it. Same shop system, same items, same ticket economy, but the pinball table becomes a top-down bumper field. No gravity, no flippers. Instead, you pull back the ball like a slingshot and shoot it in any direction. It bounces off bumpers, loses speed, slows down and stops. Then the next ball comes. More control, more decisions, less randomness. And the thing I'm most excited to build is a drag and drop system. Before each round, you actually place the bumpers on the field yourself. You decide the layout. You decide where the high value bumpers go. You build the board that fits your items and your current build. That's the part that turns it from a passive experience into an actual strategy game. That's the part that makes it worth playing. But this is a lot, and I think it will take a lot of time. I know. I just said that I underestimated a lot of things. But this time, I have my expectations set low. So I know that I cannot disappoint myself if I cannot do it. It's just me testing things out. Completely different game. Let's see how it goes. Also, I'm almost at 200 subs now. And somehow one of my videos got over 5k views, which I really didn't expect. So yeah, thank you for the support over the last couple of weeks. I never thought I'd be watched by this many people this early on. It genuinely means more than I can explain. Now back to work.